Good evening, everybody, and welcome to We the People. Tonight's We the People is a return guest. David Hildebrand is with us. Hi, David. Thank you for being here.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good. And, of course, we have Laura Livengood with us. Hi, Laura.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Welcome. Laura's going to be taking your questions in chat, but we won't get to those till the end because this is going to be a fast show, right? This is the half version of We the People. Right? So, and David.
I'll fail before the questions come up.
So David's been on the program so many times. It's David returns. He's got an open mic. You're running for something different this time. I love the business cards you got out to tell everybody what it was. But the Northern Vice Chair is the short version, right?
Yeah, Northern Vice Chair, the short version, and then as you can see on the logo here, let me give it to you a little closer.
There you go. Northern Vice Chair.
Vice Chair, and then the whole title is Northern Vice Chair of the Progressive Caucus of the California Democratic Party. Whoa. And that's why I stuck with Northern Vice Chair.
That's outstanding, outstanding. And so what exactly is that role? What do you do as the Northern Vice?
So the simple way to put it is that I would be organizing and getting people fired up in Northern California region to help out with electoral politics, mostly in issue politics. But the textbook, helping the chair, in the chair's absence, I would be, also fulfilling that role if I'm chosen between the three different vice chairs, because as you can see on the map, there's Northern, Central, and Southern. So that's what I would be doing, is basically representing that area. There's a lot more details with what the position actually does and what my goals for the position are. But that basically gives the gist of it. So like last time around, I helped out Audrey Denny, did some door knocking and online promotions for her. It'd basically be like that, only supercharged. I'd still help her out, obviously, but then I'd be trying to get local candidates into office.
Okay.
So everything all the way down to like school board and city councils and stuff like that. Some of these positions, as described by a friend in Grass Valley, if you want to be elected into one of these positions, you literally have to raise your hand and you get elected because no one's really interested in running for those positions.
Right.
So what that would do is it would build the bench for us as progressives to have more possible candidates in the future with name recognition in their areas when they run for a higher office. So city council to like say state assembly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're kind of like, you kind of go in and kind of prep everything for a candidate and kind of get the area ready for the candidate. And this is something that you're awesome at because when you ran against DiFi, you traveled the entire state of California, right?
Yeah, I traveled around in this truck right here with a mattress in the back. Actually, I'm lying. This is just a die-cast model I got from somebody.
I was wondering. I don't remember the truck. You didn't have anything like that, man. That would have been a lot more space.
Well, your memory, could be fooling you. So, no, I flew most of the time. I drove down to LA area a couple times, but then I realized that flying was actually cheaper, so I started doing that. But yeah, it's a smaller district, a smaller voting pool. It's a captive voting pool, meaning you have to be a Democrat, you have to be at the convention, you have to be a member of the California or the Progressive Caucus of the California Democratic Party to vote.
Right.
So those are the nuances. So instead of trying to travel all over the state, I just get to travel the part of the state where the cities are a few hundred miles in between each one. So,
and are you gonna? Obviously you're working the area to move progressive candidates into positions of power, but do you also work within the caucus? Did you have any role there, pushing progressive agenda or keeping an eye on other individuals?
Yeah, so my responsibilities do include promoting the agenda of the Progressive Caucus, which that depends on who gets elected into it. I know a few other people that are actually running for the Progressive Caucus, and if they win, I have no worries how the agenda will be set.
Nice.
Or promoting those agenda items.
All right. So we hope that your friends win. We've kind of got
and it's tricky because like in an election like this, there's an official like shutoff day. I think it's 30 days out from the Progressive Caucus where you have to be a member and you have to apply for a position if you want to run for the position. So there's Northern, Central, Southern, There's like the secretary and parliamentarian positions, those style positions. There's 2 at-large positions, and then of course just the chair.
Right.
And we might expand those positions. A few of us are working on some bylaws to split off the Bay Area from Northern California.
Interesting.
So anything that touches the Bay would be its own vice chair and its own region, so we can more focus and concentrate on different areas. So I would say Sacramento County North, and then the Bay Area, anything that touches the Bay really would be in its own district. But that's only if we can get those bylaws passed.
Interesting. It's just such a different. Why? That's an interesting thing that you're doing. What is with the Bay Area?
Representation. It comes down to, I don't know if you remember during my Senate run, but it was all about representation. I went up to the northern areas of the state a lot more than any other candidates, even the ones that were flush with cash.
Yeah, you did.
Because the northern state is underrepresented. And if we split off the Bay Area from the rest of the northern state, there's a lot more representation. The voices of the people in Eureka, Crescent City, Redding, Chico, they're going to get heard. Even out, Ukiah and other towns, way out in like Modoc County, they're going to get heard rather than being drowned out by the Bay Area. So that's the goal that we have for the territory change. For better representation, LA should be split into 2 or 3 different areas itself too, but I think that's something we should leave up to people who live there to decide.
Wow. Yeah, California's just that big, isn't it?
Yeah, well, even just like Audrey Denny's region or my region that I'll be covering in this race is larger than most states in some countries. So
it's ridiculous. Yeah. And you're right, it's underrepresented, and we have a lack of proper representation across the country. There really needs to be a lot more people involved, right?
Yeah,
I've seen that.
And that's the thing about farming candidates through city council and supervisor positions locally, because then those people are on the ground in those areas. So like, let's say you want to be on Crescent City City Council, and then you can run for Assembly District 2 once you get a name for yourself against the incumbent and actually have a chance.
Yeah, and that's something you kind of worked it the other way around, which is kind of cool. You ran for a huge role with a field of 30 plus candidates, but you made a good name for yourself because you traveled across the whole state and you really did shake a lot of hands, right?
Yeah, I did. I traveled from San Diego all the way up to Arcata, Eureka area. I didn't hit Crescent City, unfortunately, on the trip, but I was in Weaverville and Redding, and Chico several times. So, everywhere basically. I was in Hemet, like I mentioned during the campaign, and I think I mentioned that on one of your shows. Do you know where Hemet is? And I think I remember. I think you knew where it was.
I knew where it is because I used to live in the Inland Empire. So
there you go. So most people don't even know where it is. So I went all the way out there to just talk to a group of progressives. And really, when it comes down to it, I was able to build a network of people, but I was also able to spread the message and promote Medicare for all and other good policies and programs that people, need to hear more about, especially like in Northern California. We need to get the word out more.
Absolutely. That's kind of areas that we would call rural, although, it's a generalized term, but is that a lot of there's just not a lot of communication. There's not a lot of good information out there for those individuals, and we need to get more of a progressive message that way.
Yeah, that's it. And then the distance between cities and the people who are involved in politics in those areas, they're just so far apart from each other.
Right.
That, if we can knit that all together, that'd be great. I think we did a pretty decent job on ADEMs for the ADEM races. So that's obviously a pool of people we could look at.
Oh, good.
But basically, I'm organizing, a list of people right now as contacts that will morph into a list after, if and after I win the position, morph into a network of people from every city and county in Northern California. So I have, quick go-tos. Hey, I heard this is going on, or they could say, hey, this is going on, and contact me and let me know. Or, hey, I'm interested in running for this office. What's it going to take? Who do I need to talk to? That's the kind of stuff I really want to get involved in.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm used to the back, office role in a lot of organizing, canvassing and stuff, and not used to be a candidate. So this is a little change up from that. Obviously, my Senate run, I was a candidate, but in everything else I've been doing, I've been mostly either, helping organize, in the cubicle or helping organize canvasses or going out and canvassing myself. But it's not my favorite part to be out campaigning, but
No.
it is good to network.
Well, yeah, and that's you have a gift for it, and you're putting that talent to work here. I'm kind of excited about this because when we first started this, for me personally, started in the revolution with Bernie Sanders in 2016, we talked about a lot of Scott and other people that had been in politics for longer, like you, talked about these smaller roles that wielded a lot of power or could make a lot of change, and we needed to make these changes at the ground level. And until we got in there and planted these roots, we weren't going to have the big roles. And you're working that right now.
Yeah, and also we have to remember, according to the last climate change study, we have 12 years left. So there's a lot of pushback on the issues that I bring up about bringing people up locally, but we need a plan B, because we can't just run everyone for Congress that's progressive, that'll sign the Green New Deal and just leave it at that. Because if we lose those races, we're back all the way to square one and we have no one.
Right.
And then we do it again in 2 years and we run a bunch of people for Congress that most of them lose, and then we're in the same position. Yeah. So instead of doing that, let's play both games. Let's run people like Audrey Denny for Congress, and let's run people on the local level for city council and for state assembly and senate, so that when an election comes up that's open, an open seat or something, that we see as a lot more, winnable, then we can push them for those seats once they have that name recognition.
Right.
So it's not about, ignoring the people running for higher office. Those people definitely need to be supported, and we definitely need to promote them. But we also need to be building up a bench from the ground up.
Absolutely. It's so true. And really, it's kind of a message to the progressive movement. If you want to run for office, fantastic. Take a look at what's local first.
Yeah.
Right? It's a challenge to run for any office. And I mean, David can tell you. So,
I have PTSD still from my Senate run, but
I can imagine. All right. Awesome. Thank you. That's a great answer. I'm really glad you're doing this. It's exciting. It's exciting. California, it's one of those states that I just, it's like Oregon to me, where we outwardly seem a hell of a lot more progressive than we legislate, And I really want to change that.
We're not a progressive state, and everyone says that, but we're not. We're a liberal state, and we're a neoliberal state, and we have an establishment, that controls everything. But they're not into what we're doing. They're not into our issues. They're into getting ahead to their next office and accepting as many corporate donations as they can to do that. Whether it's the old style of direct accepting them through, a third party, or accepting them from CEOs and trying to act like they're not taking corporate donations. I mean, we can follow the money trail and find out that they are just by looking at their reports. So, I mean, it's all the same game, and we can't just, sit back and let them win. We need to fight them and get them out of office, and we're not going to do that by having Joe Schmo run for U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
But I ran because we needed a place or we needed a person for the seat, and as you know, I got in really early, so that's why I did.
You did. Listen, the moonshot runs are not a bad idea as long as you follow it up with something like you're doing right now. That's like you catapulted yourself into name recognition, so that this vice chair role should be not, pretty easy, but it's certainly going to be a lot more, tackleable than running against DiFi. You know what I mean? And that's true. And I don't have any serious competition either. I heard that I do have one possible person that's running, but no one's ever heard, like, outside of, I guess they're from San Francisco. No one has ever heard from them or of them outside of San Francisco. And it doesn't seem like they have any information up. So I don't even know what's going on with that person. But I had a couple of other people that were going to run for it, and they decided not to. And the outgoing chair, Mark, he actually endorsed me for the position instead of running again. So that's all because of your work in the previous.
Yeah, I mean, and this goes for anyone. If you get out there and do the work, you knock the doors, you organize, you stand up for the issues, you don't sell out, then, you can go far. You can build that name recognition in the progressive community. Obviously, there's a lot of pitfalls and fallback stuff where there's a lot of personal drama and personal attacks. But if you steer clear from that, then you actually do all right. And then you will end up in, higher positions and running for higher office. But you just, it's a very patient, game that you have to play because there's a lot of landmines everywhere in politics. So
note that everything David just said applies to running as a progressive with
Yeah.
values. If you want to run as a centrist Democrat or GOP, you don't need to follow any of what he just said, okay? Because they'll take care of you.
yeah,
Right,
just
so-
accept corporate donations and stomp on everyone on your way up, and you'll win because you'll be within the in crowd.
That's what makes running as a progressive quite a challenge. See?
Yeah.
So let's.
It's that whole honesty and morality thing that really, holds us back.
Yeah, it's kind of a crutch. Let's play some Progressive Jeopardy with you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So everybody, this is the shorter version because we realized Marcus and I decided that 6 questions was just too much for us to figure out how to write every time. So we're doing 3 questions. Your choices are healthy choices, habitable planets, and Bernie says. Please choose a category.
Let's do Bernie says.
All right, then.
I expect my unicorns via, union mail.
That's no problem. We can do that. This is a
Medicare for all. What is Medicare for all?
I didn't even get to ask you the question.
No, I read it. You put it up on the screen.
Yeah, but that has the blank out. That was the hard one. Here, this is
Too bad. Too bad.
This,
That
no,
was
no, because
hard.
there's the. See, you could even read it.
If that was the hard one, this test is pretty easy. Have you seen
we designed this.
Idiocracy? Because I can put the round peg in the round hole and the square peg in the square hole pretty easily.
We tried to really make it about addressing the policy and not whether you could answer the question.
Yeah, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
That's okay. You can do that.
We'll do it. Go through it. Ask me.
So Medicare for all. So let's talk about this. Do you think California will actually pass this soon? Do you think you guys can make this happen?
No, California is not going to pass it soon because apparently there was an author who was going to put single payer forward at the state level, and they backed out. I wasn't in the know when they were putting the bill forward, so I don't even know who the author was going to be. You might ask someone like Ryan Skolnick about that. He's really in the know about the Medicare for all things on that. Hold on a sec, I got something weird popping up. Okay, Medicare for all, that's an issue that he really covers. So,
Okay.
but on the federal level is where the push is now, and that's to pass, a bill in Congress, and that's really what the nurses are pushing for. And we want to get a bill past the House, and my logic for that is to get people to sign up for it,
Right.
saying they support it or not, and
Right.
that will help us out in future elections to know who to support or not. So,
That's
I mean,
exactly.
if you can't sign up for a bill you've signed up for in the past, Matt Suey, then you're not going to support it in the future when it actually can pass. So, I mean, right now it's incredibly easy for a politician to sign on to Medicare for all in the House, especially a Democrat, because once it leaves the House, it can't make it through the Senate. Unless some miracle happens. So, I mean, all of these, House Democrats should be signing on and just fully promoting it, because at the end of the day, in the long run, we're going to get it, we're going to get it through either way. So, I mean, it'd really be in their interest to actually just promote it and sign on to it.
But if they sign on to it knowing that it won't pass, then they have to worry about later on it actually getting through and then having to uphold their word, and that's just a whole mess. Right.
Well, yeah, but like I said, Matt Suey was co-signed. She's my congresswoman, but she co-signed the last one. She was a co-author.
Right.
And this time around, we can't get her to sign on to it.
Well, she's being honest. I guess that's what, So, okay, so you don't think there's a chance of it happening anytime soon at the...
Not in California. That's why we've taken the battle to Congress. And I mean, the way it works in California is you could pass it through a bill or you can pass it through an initiative. And we tried the bill route. That didn't work out. They killed it. And the initiative is just so expensive that I don't know if anyone's willing to foot the bill for that. But I mean, It would probably be $10 million to fight that fight at least.
And that's just, that's media. That's just $10 million in media.
just the bare minimum media, knocking doors, materials and everything to pass an initiative that big.
Yeah.
That would be ridiculous, ridiculous amounts of money, because remember, we're going against a nationwide health organization, network. When we're trying to pass one of these bills, even on the state level.
Yeah.
So I actually think it would be an easier shot to pass it on the national level. And that's where we need it in the end anyway, because if we have just as many foot soldiers basically as they do, then we could actually, hit them where it counts, and their money won't be worth as much because we have more people that are promoting it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Got 2 more choices. Habitable planets, healthy choices.
Let's go for healthy choices.
Healthy choices. As a candidate, this California governor promised to deliver single-payer health care for all.
Who is Gavin Newsom?
Yay. So
let's talk about that.
Talk about Gavin.
Dish, baby.
So I think Gavin's been doing actually a fairly good job with what he's done so far, but I also think that he's doing it for reasons. So like what he did when he got into office is he sent a letter to the federal government asking them to release the funds, the medical funds necessary to start a single payer system in California. So, I mean, he followed through on what he would need to do to start that process. But I also, you and me, we both know it's going to get rejected by the Trump administration.
Right.
And so it was a no-lose situation for him. And now at the end of the day, he can throw his hands up and say, well, I tried and it didn't work out. And this also buys him time on the state level. So if people start asking, what's going on the state level, why isn't there a bill on the state level? Oh, we're going to try to get it through Congress. Oh, I already asked, for that money to be released, and we're waiting on that. So it's kind of like it may be a political play, but I also appreciate that he actually followed through and wrote that letter and actually, did that much. But I am very cynical when it comes to people who get into office with large corporate money. But, maybe he'll be the first corporate candidate to actually, do something progressive. So we'll see.
What about with climate? Do you think he'll push more for a green California than the fracked land you have now?
I think he'll be better than Brown. I mean, time will say how much better, but like you just said, we have fracking and offshore oil drilling here. I don't see him slowing that down. But I also don't have the research to see what he's done already. I haven't done the research to see what he's done on that front already, as he's been in office. So
I haven't heard anything like overwhelmingly awesome. I do know that certain cities have made some statements and goals, Green New Deal goals, but I don't know anything out of him specifically.
We suspended the death penalty.
Oh, there you go. That's right. And I was like, yeah, that's neat.
So,
but so fucking what? I mean,
but there hasn't been an execution in California.
He didn't really suspend the death penalty as well. It depends on the word or how you describe suspend. Mm-hmm. What he did was basically he stopped or paused death penalties while he's in office. Because by executive order, that expires as soon as he's out of office. So, I mean, it's not like he repealed the death penalty. He just, he put a pause on it for now. And, I mean, technically, he could lift that pause at any time. And also when he leaves office, like I said, it'll expire, and whoever's the next governor will make the decision to either renew it or just ignore it.
It's been a long time since we've even had an execution in California, I believe.
And that's the other thing. It's like we're not even really following through with most of our executions anyway. So, I mean, I honestly, I think he's running for president in 2028, if not sooner. And he wanted that progressive cred, like the gay marriage thing in San Francisco. Yeah. He fought the good fight for that. I give him credit. But at the same time, he's a politician. He's very cunning. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see anyone get the wool pulled over their eyes because, he's fronting a certain way. But like I said, I give him credit for what he's done so far that's progressive. I'm kind of like giving him a honeymoon period. I try to do that with all politicians once they get into office. Tear them down on the way up, but then, once they get in, I'll give them a chance. But
I like the, I mean, that's nice. That's really nice of you. I like the AOC thing. There was no honeymoon period for her. She got in and just got to work, tearing down the establishment.
Yeah, well, I mean, just specific people. If they get into office and they start doing good things, then I'm going to remain silent. Mm-hmm. If they get into office and they start doing what we expect them to do, unfortunately, then I'm not going to remain silent about them. I'm going to call them out on those things.
Then you're being a traitor. That's not patriotic.
I think Gavin.
I'm not a gang member, and I don't really operate well on teams when it comes to team colors and that sort of thing. So yeah. I'm on the progressive side. That's my team. I'm not on the Democrat or Republican side as much as the progressive side.
Very nice.
I think Gavin likes to be liked.
That is true. And if
likes
he
popular.
has his eyes set on either, Senate or the president, I think he'll jump right to president next. But either way, if he has his heart set on doing that, then he's going to make those choices in the right way. And I mean, he's taking risks at the same time because repealing the death penalty on the national level is a huge deal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that might hurt him in the future. So, I give him credit for, putting his neck out there and doing stuff like that. But at the same time, we have to view it with a little bit of cynicism.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, last Jeopardy question. This is habitable planets. This U.S. Senator from California recently told a group of children, "I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing."
I'm going to have to show you my tattoo for this one, Senator Feinstein, or who is Senator Feinstein? I'm just kidding. I don't have a tattoo. It's a very bad bet. But no, yeah, who is Dianne Feinstein? Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing for California and shocking for that she would say that to a group of children.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she's being brutally honest. She took the money and she ran. And, she's been doing it ever since. And she's not going to change anything. She doesn't actively believe in global warming or climate change, judging by her votes and what she supports and who she takes money from. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that she said the things she did. It's a little shocking that she said it to children, though.
Yeah. It just came across as just so arrogant and just out of touch with reality. But then again, she doesn't care. She probably bought bunker space, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's going to, I don't know, are you going to promote her next time around? Because she's going to run again in 6 years? I wouldn't put it past her.
I thought, hadn't she given a deal? I thought she was one of those, I'm going to leave in the middle. Or no, was that only Nancy that was going to leave in the middle?
I don't know, but...
No, she hasn't got to the middle yet.
It's all up in the air. It's all, we can guess. There's been a lot of suspicion that she has someone in mind to replace her, and she's good friends with Gavin, and if she gets, her person in, then that's like a victory for her. And that's a problem for everyone, because once that person, so let's say she retires after 2 or 3 years, she'll get someone appointed that she wants, and that person will have incumbency staying power even if a special election is run before the next official election. So, I mean, they're going to get that name recognition and get to put U.S. Senator on the ballot next to their name or under their name, whereas anyone who run against them isn't going to have that. So it's going to be a really hard election to win in 6 years or 5 years or however you want to calculate it.
Right. It's
going to be a really hard election to win. I'm definitely not running for U.S. Senate, and this isn't like a Beto thing. Where I'm not going to do it and then I do it. I'm definitely not running for U.S. Senate next time around. I think I'm going to sit in the back and do the organizing work and really trying to build up from the ground up for the next few years at least.
Yeah, I like that. It's and I understand where you're at. The spotlight is there, but man, just what a toll on you and.
Yeah, and the thing is it's always there. If you want to go back to it, it's always there for you. Anyone can sign on that line and run for any office as long as they're a citizen of age. So, I mean, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be available. So, well, I joke around about running against multiple different people in my area and multiple different levels of office. But the reality is that we have a deficiency of candidates, especially in Sacramento area, for all these positions that we want to fill. So we need to build up the bench and get candidates in those positions. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be someone who ran last time around. It could be someone completely and entirely new that hasn't even said they're interested yet. So, I mean, we have to see how it works out. And we have to in the meantime, we have to build up the bench.
Yeah, there were 4,000 low-level government elected positions to fill in Oregon alone. So I imagine California has more. And that's,
well, I think like 5 or 6 more probably.
Yeah, it's an insane number of people in power that we need to install. So, that's
and then the DA races and other things like that. And I see your question pop up on the screen. What issue enrages you the most?
Yeah, that's the last question.
Injustice outrages me the most. I'm sick of seeing people shot and arrested by the police. I'm getting really tired of that. I'm a privileged, cisgender straight white male, and it's pissing me off, even in my situation, to see the continual abuse by the police and the continual, them getting off the hook. So that really, of everything, I think that enrages me the most. A corporate politician voting against the people, that's par for the course. But, getting shot on the street while you're obeying orders even from a police officer and killed, that's seriously, works me up and gets me enraged. And I'm not someone who's very outwardly emotional, so it's all simmering under the surface. But no, that really pisses me off.
Yeah, you are. I'm with you there. And unfortunately, I end up tweet raging about those things because I just don't know what to do. I'm like, the recent.
Yeah, I spread the message when it happens, and obviously, I support the families and the people that were the victims of the police, and I, share the videos and whatnot that shows what the police actually did. So, at the end of the day, I still promote those things and send them out and let people know what's going on in different cities in our country.
Right. Well, yeah, me too. And it's good. It's unfortunate that a lot of the sites that were sharing that content, uncovering that content, the body cam footage, were shut down by Facebook, and the censoring of that content was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that we can do about digital rights soon in that regard?
It'd probably take a Supreme Court case to say that social media is a public forum, and then we can post whatever we want. But that's also a double-edged sword, remember?
Yes.
So, if we can post whatever we want, then so can anyone else. So, unless we have some sort of hate speech requirement, that goes along with it. But at the same time, that's also something that's been used against us as well. Like in the case of supporting Palestinian rights, all of a sudden you're anti-Semite, even if you're Jewish.
Yeah, which is...
So, it's just that's not hate speech. That's just the truth. The Zionist state, like Bernie said, and then recently, the Zionist state is run by an right-wing government. So, it's not, talking negatively about Israeli politics is not anti-Semitism.
Right. I think we've hopefully made that clear to all of the hypocrite people on TV that are using it as a weapon.
Yeah.
And Laura Livegood, do you have any questions from the chat? No,
there's been a lively chat. Everybody likes you, thinks you have good ideas and are sensible.
Is that the censored version?
No.
There's got to be someone out there who's pissed off watching me.
No. No, we had someone who was a little angry, but that was not you. That was, I don't know.
That was me? Oh.
No, they're not mad at you. They're mad at the same thing. Police state,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't Fox News. And even if it was, we'd ask you good questions compared to CNN. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the thing, hey, there's a topic to talk about. Fox News having a fairer town hall than CNN on both occasions.
Right.
And Bernie owning them both.
Yeah, well, and what's funny about the Fox News one is, I made a joke. I think I tweeted it or something that, CNN's looking at Fox News you can't even rig a town hall. It's they buried it. Bernie didn't really do anything. He just sat there and answered questions. And the fact that didn't, select questions like CNN did that were obviously, smears and trying to get him to answer a certain way, like that dumb question about the Boston Marathon bomber and whether he should have the right to vote because Bernie says everyone in prison should. It's just bait like that. And he had to take the bait because he's for voting for all people, that are citizens. So and the next day they came out and smeared him for it. Fox News didn't even do that. They just, used the same red baiting that they usually do. And Bernie blew him out of the water just by doing what Bernie always does, standing up there boringly stating the statistics and facts. And we all love him for it.
Yeah.
I think, absolutely. I think the best thing for me about the Fox News thing was that I think even the interviewers were surprised, our audience likes this stuff. We should go think about it. It's they weren't even trying to hold line. They were like,
Yeah, I made a joke on Twitter about how they're probably preparing their resumes.
Yeah.
After that town hall. because the Fox is probably going to fire him after that.
Yeah, no kidding.
They worked every diverting tactic they could to keep people from applauding at the end of his great answers.
And then the funny thing is that when they asked, how many people like their health care and everyone's hand shot up, they should have left it at that, but they're dumb enough to ask how many people would rather have Medicare for all, and more people raised their hands for that. And it's like, you gave it. It was a gimme. You gave it to Bernie because you knew, that basically they thought they had the audience, the hosts did, and they didn't have the audience.
Yeah.
So, they ended up screwing themselves for that. But, it makes for great political humor during, an otherwise stressful season. So
I think.
Well, my thought was in the last election that they liked him better than they liked all the centrists. They liked him better than Hillary because they didn't think he could win. So they just don't want the corporate Democrats to they don't mind giving Bernie good press. I don't think they take him seriously.
Yeah, I think that there's some people being very calculating. Some people that think Bernie can't win because he's too far left, so they're promoting him, as a Democrat scapegoat, and because they think he's going to lose. Well, guess what they did to Trump? They did the same thing. They promoted him as this crazy Republican guy. Let's promote him to the top because no one will actually vote for him in the end, and it'll make the Republicans look stupid.
Yep.
Well, that logic isn't going to work out this way around.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, Bernie's actually got the policies that people care about, which, show not only in those crowds at the Fox News town hall, but also, across the country in polling. Single payer is up. Bernie himself is up in the polls compared to last time, and he's beaten everyone else out in quite a few of them. So
CNN said this afternoon that he's their number one.
Yeah, and what's funny is there's which it was The Hill posted a poll, and they said that Buttigieg or whatever his name is, rose to the top of the poll or skyrocketed to the top of the polls and passed up Biden, and they didn't even mention Bernie in the title of the thing. I tweeted about that one and called him out.
Actually, third. It was.
Yeah, he was third, and he was still below Biden. And it's like, and he had like 15, and Biden had 18, and Bernie had 30, and they didn't even mention Bernie. In the original article. So I screen grabbed it and shared it to everyone. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's just straight out lying.
I saw that.
Like not even like trying to twist the truth or anything.
No.
Like they're just straight up lying about it. Because there's only one definition of top.
Yeah.
You go all the way to the top. You're not, third place is not the top of the poll.
Yeah.
The top is an area, David.
The bottom of the top three.
No, it's an area that can consist of 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5. Depends,
Yeah.
Buttigieg was on the third floor of a 10-story building, and Bernie was on the roof, and they're saying that he was up on the roof.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you just define statistics. You explain statistics, basically. Thank you, Schultze, for your donation.
Well, thank you, Schultze.
Succotash. It's Bear Mountain.
Yeah, everyone give these guys money. So because if all 10 of us give them money, then we'll get like $100.
Hey, we got 15 people watching, mister.
Whoa.
15.
Hi, everybody. Hey, we got a lot more people watching on the rerun. All right.
Yeah, we do.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. You got that.
Yeah.
Got the rerun, and people are coming back now that they remember that there's a big election coming. The midterm.
You're a Jeopardy champion now, so you can put that in your resume.
You are
There
a
you go.
Jeopardy champion.
I'm going to put that
Jeopardy
only on my work resume, though, and see if it passes.
Okay.
One question.
And don't spend all those unicorns in one place.
Well, I
Yeah.
still haven't received them. Are they like going to get overnighted or something?
Well, I think they have a crypto thing going.
Check will be in the
don't
mail.
Oh, okay.
Check's in the mail.
So it's like Bitcoin, so it
Yeah.
could crash at any minute, and it probably crashed 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We should create a cryptocurrency called unicorns. I bet we'd get a shit ton of people buying it.
Oh, you'd probably make a lot of money off of that.
We would. So here's your tell us everybody where to get in touch with you and how to help you and all that stuff.
Yeah, so actually the campaign email is David for NorCal now.
All right. We'll get that changed.
So you could adjust that. I don't think we went over that before we started.
No.
It's been correct in your lower third.
It's correct in the lower
Yeah,
third.
and,
all right.
and David for California is the website still because I just used the same one.
Okay.
But then the email is David for NorCal, just to be specific.
All right. But you're active on Facebook. You're active on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right. All right. People can help you. And are you looking for volunteers to help with your campaign? Are you looking for people to help you do things?
I'm not looking for money or like at-large volunteers.
Okay.
What I'm asking people to do, especially who live in San Francisco area, get on the KDM website, which is the California Democratic Party website.
Okay.
If you find where the convention page is, there's a link at the top. Go to the convention page and go to caucuses, should be listed on that page. If you're in San Francisco area or even close enough to drive, the caucus is going to be held either Friday or Saturday, and it's usually held at night. So if once it's scheduled, I'll put out an email and put it on social media. But basically, get on there, register for the Progressive Caucus. It's $20. There's even fee waivers if you can't afford the $20. And all you have to do literally is show up and vote, and you can leave and go do whatever else you want. So if you have a nice night planned in San Francisco or something like that, or go and see the sites, run to the Progressive Caucus and vote real quick and leave, that's all the effort it takes to actually vote. You just have to be a Democrat, a member of the Progressive Caucus, and either pay the $20 or get a fee waiver, and you can vote. And then obviously my main pool of voters are delegates to the party and people who are going to, organizers who show up either way to conventions, kind of like I was during my campaign. I was showing up to all the conventions and e-boards because it was necessary. But also you might see some presidential candidates there. So there's also that, if you want to hang around at the convention, you might see several presidential candidates there.
Wow.
As well. There's a chair race going on. So if you're, you can't vote if you're not a delegate in that. But if you're interested in seeing how that rolls out as it happens, that's another thing to go out for. Mm-hmm. And just to go out and wear your single payer shirts, and get engaged with, the movement. It's all good. But at the end of the day, what I'm looking for is votes on the Progressive Caucus.
Okay.
And, that's the minimal effort basically is what I gave is just, show up and vote basically. So
awesome.
I just put a link to the caucuses page and the dates of it. If you didn't hear you, it's May 31st through June 2nd, downtown San Francisco.
But then the actual caucus, I don't think we have a finalized time yet. Last time I checked, we didn't have a finalized time when it was going to meet. Mm-hmm. So as soon as that schedule's out, I'll let everyone know.
Isn't that usually at the convention or not?
Yeah, it is at the convention, but right now we have 3 different slots that the Progressive Caucus put in for. It's each of the caucuses, they get, different times they can select. And we have, I think, 2 different times on Friday and 1 on Saturday.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to get it over with on Friday, and because we have the chairs race on Saturday and possibly Sunday too, if it goes to a second vote.
There's caucuses for everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's environmental, labor, or a couple of the other ones I'm a member of. But yeah, there's issue caucuses, there's identity caucuses. So it's across the board. And if you want to start a caucus, you just have to fill out the right paperwork and start one. So.
Wow.
And everybody remember, caucuses are these special forces that focus on these issues and try to get stuff done, right?
Yeah.
So if you feel
and the Progressive Caucus is known as the conscience of the party. So these are the people who entered, or people who are already in, the party and don't like what they see are generally the people you're going to find at the Progressive Caucus. So if you're declined to state, Green Party, or anyone else, and you're going to vote for Bernie this year, one, I would recommend, it's not required, but I would recommend registering Democrat at least temporarily for that. But you also can get involved in other elections on the local level and at conferences and conventions where you actually can have a say and swing the way that politics are going in the Democratic Party. So it's actually, there's a big benefit to doing that. I understand some people just can't bring themselves to do that because of what they've seen, but at the end of the day, to win an election, we really need to, flood, the party. We came very close last time around to winning the chairs race and actually getting progressive values into the party and taking it over. And we saw what happens when we didn't. We had corrupt people.
Members? How many active members in the Progressive Caucus?
A few hundred.
Okay.
That's powerful. And
there's it's one of the largest, if not the largest caucus. I think labor is comparable, but it's a lot of the same people.
Wow. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, David, for running for this and educating us on the powers of the Northern Vice Chair.
The powers.
Seriously, because it really is. And it's like the non-glamorous positions, but these are the ones that pull the levers that eventually control the big power. And that's, so thank you. Thank you for working the grudge work that everybody doesn't want to talk about. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of details and a lot of background stuff. If you want to get involved in politics and you want to get involved with the Dem Enter movement and entering the party and taking it over for corporate free progressives, that's the whole goal. And a lot of people, they don't want to do that. They want to stay outside the party. But unfortunately, in California, there's not a lot going on outside the party.
Right.
So, when I left the Democratic Party after the primary in 2016, I registered as Green for 6 months and through the general. And literally there was no one on the ground, actually running anything. And then we have, the Greens of one city don't like the Greens in another city. And there's only 10 of them total in those two cities that are actually active. And it's like, you're never going to win an election that way. It's not because you're the Green Party. It's because you're so divided. And the Democratic Party is divided, but all the progressives are on the same side in that.
Yeah, you would hope we could all get on the same side of saving this human species.
Yeah, well,
We've got
quite a clear leader, which helps.
Yeah, clear leader, and we need people to actually prioritize it.
Wow,
it's like the California drought. I told people that people aren't going to be concerned about the drought in California until they turn on the tap and water doesn't come out.
Right.
And that's really, that's the human condition. We don't react until there's a huge emergency, or the old saying, we always do the right thing after we've exhausted all of their opportunities. And we're going to exhaust the entire Earth, and there's not any other opportunities. You can say we can fly to another planet, but at the end of the day, we actually have to make that planet habitable, and we don't have the technology to do that in 10, 12 years. So we're screwed, basically, if we don't change how we're doing stuff.
Yeah, and on that positive note, we go out
just,
today.
Go out on that. And we're all going to die. But it's probably going to be painless for some of us.
This isn't the Saturday show, David. I'm usually the one nailing this depressive
Sad
stuff.
Saturday? Am I not on the sad Saturday?
All right. Thank you so much, David Hildebrand, for coming on and telling us what you're running for. Thank you for running again and being a progressive and part of the movement.
Yes.
We're going to get out of here with a song because we told you we don't let candidates pick songs anymore.
Well, after the incident, I can understand.
Yeah. Let's just straight up. Marcus picked this Feel the Burn 2020 version. I have no idea what it is, so we'll just kick back and enjoy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Laura, have a good thing.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
The time has come to bring that investigation and the other investigations of this matter to an end. 1 year of Watergate is enough.
There cannot be war and investigation.
How is a wall gonna give us security? What about your men committing to perjury and a power plant submitting to mercury? Certainly. What about your meeting in Germany? Talking to Putin so thoroughly. All about a currency currently. That is the real nation emergency. Obstruction of justice, corruption with Russians. They hide in transcripts. I don't trust the discussions. In love with his budget and putting nothing above it. Deregulating industries, how he governs his public. Don't let him get a second term. Feel the burn. Don't let him get a second term.
I like this.
Sinners. I don't see you winning. I don't see you winning. I got 20/20 vision. I don't see you winning. I don't see you winning. I got 20/20 vision. Lies are heavily quoted in perpetual motion. The truth never is spoken. The poor steadily growing. It's fundamentally broken. You're one-dimensionally focused. Call me an NPC. I got my weapon reloaded. The house of cards falls with the emoluments clause. You didn't use a blind trust, so you've broken the law. Mar-a-Lago, Christ thrust, so you know that he's wrong. Could see his greed, but eyes shut, cause his soul's been lost. We want Medicare that's definite. Medicare that's definite. President. We want Medicare that's definite. We want Medicare that's definite. Not billionaires to president that represent executives that overprice our medicine. Democrat. Republican. What can I do to make him understand? He opened up a Muslim ban, and I ain't giving him another chance. Not Republican. Democrat. He meeting with the Russian diplomats. He out of touch with the middle class, but he be cutting all the richest tax. Don't let him get a second term. Feel the burn. Don't let him get a second term. Feel the burn. Sinners. I don't see you winning. I don't see you winning. I got 20/20 vision. winning. I don't see you winning. I got 20/20 vision. What bothers me is his policies. Immigration starter kit. His administration is split a nation with his politics. Sons and daughters separated, sent away and fatherless. His legislation name was zero tolerance, you bitch. So, peace to the peanut farmer Jimmy Carter, who gave it up cause he was driven farther than the dollar. And China gave you trademarks, make me question you harder. Is his decisions in our interest or his business partners? Twisting facts is how he lies, inflating numbers out his mind. Takes credit for the GDP, it's been up since 2009. Economy don't trickle down, they getting rich and sitting round. The poor are left to swim or drown. Speakers up and system loud. America is for the people. Look how he treats Puerto Rico. Just cause they can't give you votes, you don't even see him equal. Remember when you had the nerve to doubt Obama's natural birth? Said that he should put it out, but what about your tax returns? Just know that writing this, I'm taking a chance. I'm in the army, he's my chain of command. I could be punished just for making a stand, and lose a lot just from saying this, damn. Yeah, don't let him get a second term. Feel the burn. Don't let him get a second term. Feel the burn. Saying that I don't see you winning. I don't see you winning. I don't see you winning. I got 20/20 vision.